Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial. I know it's been a while, but here I am, back with new tips, back with new tricks, back with new features, new softwares, and it's going to be a long ride. So, in today's video we're gonna be working on a very artistic and realistic scene. We're gonna make it from scratch, modeling, lighting, texturing, and post-production. So, without further ado, let's start the video. Alright, so here we have our empty scene. We're gonna go to customize, unit setup, and make sure we're using centimeters and hit OK. So we're gonna start off with a simple box, height of 320, and let's take the width up to 800, length up to something like 500, let's say, and we're gonna drop and edit poly on this. Now we select the move tool and we align this to the 0 axis. So whenever we drop objects into the scene, they're gonna all align here on the grid. Okay, so let's first of all remove the top and remove the bottom. We don't need them here. We're gonna start modeling the shape of our scene. Okay, let's take this here, and in order to know properly what I'm doing, I'm gonna go to scene and select my model. And by the way guys, I'm gonna be dropping every single link of the models that I'll be using in today's scene, so you can download it. It's going to be down in my description. Alright, now select angle snap tool. Let me mirror this one. Let's see. Maybe this way. Alright, now back to modeling the space. Here we go. I'm gonna select the camera. Here's my cam. And for this video I'm gonna be using a long shot. So render setup, press here, and let's select show save frames, and the aspect would be 2000 by 600, let's say, and let's lock this. Alright, now I need an entrance from here, a simple hallway, so grab those edges here, go to connect, press 2, and extrude this to make a hallway. Here we go, and delete the upper and lower part. Alright, now let's continue with this. Let's make a wall here. Press F4 to show the edges, and we can see that the edges are like grayed out until I zoom in. One simple trick to solve this is to select element and hit flip. Okay, now we can see the edges wide and clear. Alright, okay, now back to here, select those edges, select those two, and connect. and hit OK. Let's move this closer. Move this too. Okay. I'm gonna extrude this to -20. Remove bottom, remove top, and extrude those two to 10 and hit OK. Alright. Now to my sofa here, I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna delete the one that I won't be needing. So select the elements here. Make sure everything is deleted. Alright. Here we go. And hit close. Okay. Now continue with the modeling. I'm gonna select the edges here. I'll be needing something like 300 meters here. Yeah, that would do. So let me grab this edge here and take it to here. Okay. And I need something like also 300 something here. Yeah, that would do. So I'm gonna grab the edge here and move it to the side. I use the boxes here as a measuring tape. Now delete. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna extrude this something like 260, let's say. Yep, something like that. Alright. And I'm gonna be needing a door right here. So connect. And we're gonna take a box as a measuring tool also. And we're gonna select 220 as a door height. I'm gonna grab the edge here. Okay, and hit delete. And make a nice door. And we're gonna grab this door here, move it to this side. We're gonna extrude this to -15 and hit OK. Delete the lower part. Okay. And go to doors, pivot, snap tool, right click on snap tool and select vertices. And here we have our door. Okay. Yeah, we don't need this open. Panels is none. Okay, and here we have our simple door. Okay, move this a little bit to here. And now we do our save. Okay. Now for the openings, we're gonna need a few windows. So again, edges, connect, connect those two here, set this to 0. This is going to be my first window. I connect this to 2 and 30. Same goes here. Alright. And another window here. Here we go. And connect it. We're gonna select polygon here, extrude it to -15, hit delete. Polygons here, extrude, -15, delete. Okay. We're gonna go to Windows now, Fixed, again, Snap Tool, or you can press S on your keyboard. Select the windows and fix the framing to 5. Same goes here. Actually, I'm gonna make a bigger window here. So let's select the vertices and hit OK. Okay, so here's the bigger window here. Again, fixed window, snap tool, and increase the panels to 2 and the width of 3. Alright, and here we have our openings. Okay. Now for the floor, I'm gonna select a line, snap tool, and we're gonna start snapping the line into the walls. Right. Small mistake here, I'm gonna fix it. So I'm gonna drag the vertex here, delete this and this too. Alright, now select all vertices, Ctrl A to select everything, and I'm gonna hit Weld to connect all the line together, and we're gonna shell this to an error amount of 20. Okay, so here's our floor. Unhide all, and again I'm gonna select and copy this, make sure it's a copy, and goes for the ceiling. Okay. I forgot a window here. Fixed. No panels. Oops. Okay. So here we go. Starting to look fresh. Okay. Now, again, we save the file so we don't lose anything. And we go back to our adding stuff. Okay, so let me start with the wall panel here. Merge it. Delete unnecessary ones, I mean. Right. I'm gonna group those two here. Call them wall panels. And let me teach you a simple trick. So we go here to pivot, affect pivot only. I'm gonna select the pivot. Right click on snap, enable axis, and move this here. Remove affect pivot only, and we're gonna copy this as instance to 2. Here we go. Now I can group this, select my walls, and hit isolate, or you can press Alt Q. Rotate this to 90 degrees and move it to here. Okay. Now again move it up there, scale it a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna select FFD, control points, move those here, disable snap, and we're gonna align them to the wall. Okay, grab this, copy it as instance, and take it up and assign it. And make sure it's well connected to the wall and the floor. Group those two wall panels. Okay, here we go. Let's unhide all and check everything. Alright, here's the first steps. Now let's continue with adding stuff. Gonna select our wall divider here. Let's drop this to the scene. Okay, rotate this straight. And move it to the middle of the scene. Let me check the other objects. gonna select this one. Okay. And bring it here. Align it to the floor. Hit FFT on it. Select the points up here. Make sure it goes down. Other points here. Make it a little smaller. Again, affect pivot only. Select the pivot, assign it to the edge, and make at least 2 copies of it. Let's see. And yeah, let's move it this way. It's better. Again. Alright. Here we go. And now let's assign material for our windows. Window 1, window 2, window 3. Material editor. I'm gonna select multi-subject object. Call it windows. Set the number to 5. And this is by default max like max mathematics for Corona material. For the glass, plastic, and all the materials assigned for windows and doors that comes with 3ds Max. So glass goes number 3, plastic black, assign it to the other numbers, and hit assign on our windows, and UVW this to box real world scale. Okay, now edit poly on the window, grab the glass and clone it so we can have our portals. We don't need this anymore, so we're gonna grab Corona portal material and hit assign. And portals will help us clear the image faster, help us save time, so the renders will be faster, and will also clean noise and give us a clearer image at the end. So that's why I like to use portals. Okay, here we have all our portals set. Okay, and we can move in the other part of the scene and select the other objects. So let's grab this, assign it here, copy it as instance and mirror it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now coffee tables. Scale them up a bit. Make sure it's grouped and align them to the floor. Here we go. Alright. Still have a few objects to put in our scene, and again I'm gonna be leaving every single model in the description down below so you can download them and experience with them. Most of the models are downloaded from CG Mode, and I'm also gonna leave the description for the link down in the description for the website. So here we have our dining table set to here. Okay, go a little back. All right. Here we have our pendant lamp. Where is it? Here it is. Right. Scale them down. Rotate. Here we go. Okay. Few objects left. Here's our little small floor lamp. Okay. Make sure we didn't forget anything. Here's our future bike. Rotate. Scale it a bit. And align it to floor. And after finishing up with setting the models, we're gonna start working with lights in order to make this scene realistic. So here's our bike ready and the autosave. Let's wait for it. Okay. And the final one, our figurine. Gonna scale this up, rotate it, take this here. I'm gonna remove the lower part of it. Make sure it's in the middle, something like that. Okay, let's see. And let's not forget the roof. make sure it's a copy, and move this up. Alright, and again, let's hit save. So now we're gonna be testing lights, add the lights that are missing in our scene. And before that, let's fix this small mistake here. FFD, control points, group again, FFD, to the wall, remove this. Okay, here we have fixed. Now let's unhide them and select our windows. With the portals, come here to render setup, go to scene, material override, and exclude those. Material editor, grab a simple Corona material and assign it to our material override. So now this will turn our scene fully white, and we can see the light bouncing over the objects. I'm gonna demonstrate how. So hit interactive and we're gonna see a full black scene because we don't have any light sources. Back to render setup, we're gonna set in our environment tab a Corona sky. So here we have the first light bouncing inside our scene. Alright, now we need sun, so we're gonna grab Corona sun, assign it, and the sun is going to be an intensity of 0.08, the size to 12, maybe 15, and the color of it is going to be direct input. Okay, let's highlight compress this to 3 so we don't have light burn, as you can see here. So highlight compressing will help with clearing up the burns in our lights. Okay, so this is our first light source, the second light source. I'm going to be needing a light here above the figurine here, so rectangle, move this high up, okay, make this a little smaller, and hit interactive. Okay, so we're gonna disable all of this here and select IES light, something like white soft, intensity to 10 maybe. Alright, here we have our third light. Okay, let's try and increasing the directionality of this to 0.45, and later on we're gonna change the temperature of the lights. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. Make sure to save so you don't lose your progress. Alright, now that we have our first lights, let's continue with the other lights in our scene. So let's take this high up here. Okay, and isolate them and create lights for those as a sphere. Okay, first light, second light as instance, and third as instance, and make sure they're inside the object. Here we go. First light, second and third. We're gonna grab the lights here, group them, and name them as table lamps. Alright. For second light here, I'm gonna grab it, name it floor lamp. The reason why I'm doing this is to help me bake my lights for light mix, so I can play with the lights at the end of the render and give us the mood that we need. So again, this goes to direct input and intensity of 50. Check the lights here. Again, open. Those will be named ceiling light. Direct input, again 50. Delete this. Close this one here and instance this one. This light would be figure light. Alright, the sun already has its own name, Corona Sun. And maybe add a light here so we can have more control. So rectangle and move it back and name it outside light. And maybe another light here. Okay, so outside light 2. Okay, now let me check this with interactive. We can see we have lights bouncing all over the scene. Okay, now I select this. I'm gonna add the missing objects, like the curtain. Oops. Okay. So I'm gonna grab my curtains. And let's select this one here. Alright, here I have my curtains. Here we go. I'm gonna ungroup this. And we're gonna align those here. FFD. And FFD. Okay, so here we have our first curtain set. Close the group. Move this up to here as a copy. Ungroup. FFD. This one here. Alright. Move this here. And maybe FFD this one. So give it a more realism so that everything doesn't look the same. And we're gonna group everything. Okay. Here we have our curtain set. Let's check the lights now. And it's looking pretty amazing. Okay. Now let's assign all the materials and relink all the missing textures in the scene. So I'm gonna be using this script called relink bitmaps, and I'm also gonna be linking the link down in the description down below so you can use it, guys. So let me assign all the missing textures. Here we go. 3D library. And relink everything. And since everything here is basically V-Ray, so I'm gonna be converting everything to Corona. Okay. Again, let me check. Everything seems to be looking good. Alright. Now let's disable material override and check it again without the white. And here we can see our scene. How's it looking so far? We're gonna start assigning the materials. So for the ground, I'm gonna be using concrete from Corona Material Library, and it's going to be concrete floor semi-gloss. So concrete floor semi-gloss, we'll add a UVW to it as a box and a real world scale. Okay. For the wall here, it's going to be basically black. So walls, wall paint, black semi-gloss, and again UVW map, box, real world scale. Oh, let's edit poly and remove the background of the figurine and detach it. So this here will be a custom paint. So we're gonna grab Corona material, Corona bitmap, and assign this to our diffuse slot. Okay, take this to our bump, give it a little bit of bump, something like 2. Okay, reflection something 0.65 and glossiness to 0.55, let's say, and assign it to our wall and make sure it's showing. UVW this to a box, and here we go. Alright, now let's change the color of this to yellow. And see how it's looking. So far it's looking great. Alright. Door here also be yellow. Okay. Okay, now let me enable light mix for a bit so we can fix our lighting in the scene. There's different ways to do it. You can select it here from the Corona toolbar, or you can go to settings, scene, and hit setup light mix. Alright, I'm gonna select group lights, and in render elements you can see our lights here. Let's hit interactive again and start working with our lights. Autosave. Okay, so Corona Sun will be something like 3. Environment will go something like 1.5, let's say. Suspension here, something to 5 by 5. Figurine light, go to something like 1.2 or 1.5 actually. Floor lamp, go something like 10 maybe, but with the blue color. Okay. Here we go. Table lamps to 10. Let me create a different light here. Alright. From the lot here, we're gonna select graphic 01 and select 0.5 Alright. Let's select the material here. Assign it to black. Alright. Now let's fix our camera a bit. So select camera target. Move this to the middle. Alright, give a bit of contrast to the scene, something like 2. Bit of exposure, say 0.5. A little bit of warmth, to 7000 let's say. A little bit of bloom also. Glare set it to 0.02. Alright, everything is looking pretty great so far. Yep, maybe change the colors here to give a little bit of contrast, make them a little brighter. Select it. So here's the material here. Grab a corona, or actually a color correction. Assign it to the node here. Go to advanced. Preview this. Make it to something like 150, let's say. And let's check it in the interactive. Definitely needs more. Let's try 300 or 400. We can see they're brighter now. Right. So 300 is pretty good for the metal part. Again, let's wait for the save. So this goes for legs. Yes. It's gonna be a brighter color. Alright. Now we have more contrast in our scene. Move this object to here. Okay. It's looking pretty good. And I think our scene is ready to render. But first, small modification to the sun here. try a bigger size to 20, let's say. Here we go. Alright, 20 seems pretty good. So this yellow here, give it a bit of imperfections to it. Fingerprints all over it. Let's check in the render. Alright. And officially we can render the scene now. So make sure again everything is set to light mix. Go to settings. I have my resolution here. The aspect of the image is 2000 by 600, and I'm gonna lock it and increase the rendering size. So here guys, you can set any number that you wish depending on your PC specs, of course. I'm gonna render this up to 4K, and after done with the render, we're gonna do a post-production using Photoshop and a little play with light mix. And now that we have our render ready, we're gonna be working on art direction in the scene so we can make it look realistic and focus mainly on one object to make the scene look like it's showing a message to the viewer. So here I have my light mix all set to 1 and the colors all set to white, and for the post-production we have everything back to normal. Alright, so let's start with a bit of exposure, so maybe something like 0.3. Highlight compress to 3 maybe, or 2. Adjust the white balance, make it a little bit warm. Apply a lot. Alright. Make it more sharp. And a little bit of blur. Alright. So now we can focus on our main object here. So you're gonna turn off table lamps for now. Turn off the bike. This light coming out from the window, and the light coming outside from the right window. Alright. Got some bloom here. Okay. Maybe increase the bloom to 1.2. And again, wait for the autosave. Okay, a little bit of vignette. Alright, as you can see, our main focus now is the Batman figurine here, the sculpture. And we have our light positioned above it, so the main viewer's focus is going to be directly here. Alright. Okay, so here's our first image. I'm gonna save it here to diff and call it 1. Now let's make another look for our scene. Waiting for the save. Okay, so it's going to be this. Let's set it to 1. Corona Sun is going to be to 5. Increase the highlight compress. Environment. Alright. Just a little bit. Let's disable this. Alright, now you can see the focus is on the sofa. I'm gonna save this one too. The purpose of this, guys, is to show you that one simple image with light mix setup and different lights in your scene can help you control the viewer's eye and lead to a perfect, well done scene that can tell a story. Alright, now we can disable Corona Sun and have our focus here on the bike with the table lamps on. Right. And here's our outside light from the side. Okay, we can save this one too. And let's, for the final one, we're gonna toggle all. Okay, and now we can save this one too. Alright, back to here, go to Photoshop and do a little bit of post-production. So here's Photoshop, and here's image number 1. I'm gonna go to camera roll filter. okay. Give it a bit of exposure. A little bit of shadows. Increase the sharpening to something like 7. Alright. Increase the light a bit. Darken the dark areas. And here we go. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please make sure to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you won't miss another video.